Okay, welcome to JC Connect. In the previous class, we were discussing about the how the ozone is going to affect or how ozone is going to react with the uh, the pathogens that are present in the water. Okay, so next we'll move on to the disinfection by potassium permanganate. The potassium permanganate formula is it is KMNO4. Okay, this is used for uh, disinfecting the well water, especially for the well water. In the villages which are generally contaminated with the lesser amount of the bacteria. Okay, this you have to remember always. Remember this. So, used in for the villages and with the lesser amounts of bacteria. It also helps in oxidizing the taste producing organic matter. Okay, but one disadvantage is that it creates a color. Okay, KMNO4. The formula is, remember this, that is KMNO4. Okay, I tell you the only disadvantage is that it creates a color. Okay. So, but this color can be removed. It won't be there for longer time. So after 2 to 3 days, even the color is going to disappear. So it helps in oxidizing the taste producing organic matter. One advantage is that it is going to kill the bacteria. Okay. Second one, it is going to oxidize the organic matter. Organic matter. Okay, so it is therefore sometimes added in small doses such as zero point 0.5 to 1 milligram per liter, 0.1, 0.05 to 0.1. Okay. Even to filtered and chlorinated water. Sometimes this is used even after chlorination or before chlorination also. We can call it as a two-stage disinfection process. Two-stage disinfection process. Okay, so as it is said that it is used with the lesser amount of bacteria. Okay, if more amount of bacteria are assumed that we have 1 lakh bacteria are there. Okay, it cannot be recommended. First you have to chlorinate it using the chlorine, you have to disinfect, then followed by the KMNO4, followed by KMNO4. Okay, see, once you disinfect the water with the chlorine. Okay, once you disinfect with this chlorine, then most of the pathogens are going to be killed. Only we can say 5 to 10%. If it is remains, then it will be removed with the help of the KMNO4. If the less bacteria are there, if less pathogens are there, you can use the potassium permanganate. Of course, this is the old method. Even if you go back to 10 years or 15 years back, the people is used to um, put some potassium permanganate into the wells. Okay, normally it is recommended for the wells, remember. Okay, not for any drinking water treatment plant. We cannot use it for our drinking water treatment plant. Okay, so it is has also been used as a algicides and for removing the color and iron from the water. Of course it is giving color, but it is going to remove the color which is present in the water. So even if the algae is there, that can be removed. Okay. Algae, if fungi, they are all present in the well waters. Even if you see most of the well waters, they are all present in the well waters that can be removed with the help of this KMnO4. For treating the well water supplies, a small amount of potassium permanganate is dissolved in a bucket of water. Okay, this method is very important. A small the amount they have already said how much amount we have to add, that is 0.05 to 0.1 milligram per liter. Okay, dissolved in bucket of water and is thoroughly mixed with the well water. The addition of potassium permanganate to water produces a pink color. As I already said that it produces a pink color. However, if the pink color disappears, it shows that the organic matter is present in water. Okay, if more organic matter is there, okay, normally what will happen is that if you add KMnO4 to a water, okay, it will give a pink color. Suppose if it is not giving pink color, you just conclude that okay, it is having higher organic matter. Higher organic matter, it is very dangerous. Okay, means pathogens will be more. Then it means that you have to add some more amount. If the pink color is persisting, okay, you assume that very less bacteria are there, almost all the pathogens are killed. At that point of time, you can stop adding the KMnO4. And more quantity, it shows that organic matter is present in water, and more quantity of potassium permanganate should be added until the pink color stands. Okay. Then the well should not be used at least for 48 hours. Remember this. After the addition of potassium permanganate. This always you have to keep it in mind that once you add the KMnO4 to any of the wells or the open wells, you are not supposed to use even after 48 hours, because this more concentration of KMnO4 is toxic. If it remains in water, even if you consume, okay, so it will become toxic to our human beings and the stomach. Okay, the normal dose of the disinfectant varies between 1 to 2 milligram per with a contact period of 4 to 6 hours. Okay, so this is the dose you have to maintain. Normal dose, if anybody asks that how much dose of disinfectant has to be added, how much dose of KMnO4 has to be added, so then you have to suggest that you have to use 1 to 2 milligram per liter with a contact period of 4 to 6 hours. Okay, so then don't use it for normally 48 hours. Okay, potassium permanganate, though cheap, handy and quite useful, yet cannot guarantee 100% removal of the bacteria. As I already said that we cannot guarantee that it will remove 100%. But with the chlorine, we can say that 100% removal is possible. Okay, it can remove about 98% of the bacteria. It can possibly remove 100% causing cholera. See again, I can say 100% with only some specific organisms. Okay, with the specific organisms, but is a little use against the other disease organisms. Cholera causing bacteria or the pathogens, 100% it is going to remove. Then when to recommend this? See, if cholera is more and all those things, if it is causing due to the waterborne diseases, so then you prefer this. Okay, but it is, as it is discussed with the other pathogens, it is less effective. So moreover, the water treated with the potassium permanganate with the passage of time produces a dark brown precipitate, okay, which is noticeable as a coating on porcelain vessels, and it is difficult to remove without scouring. Okay, this is method of disinfection is also therefore not satisfactory and not recommended except for rural areas. See, as I discussed earlier, okay, so it is giving the residual color which is of dark brown precipitate. Okay, for example, if vessel is there, in the vessel if you are treating it, if you added any KMnO4 to any of your vessels, then what will happen is that after treatment, the color is going to retain on the uh, um, um, the wall of that vessel. Okay, uh, If you want to remove that, again you have to do the acid washing. Remember, acid washing. Again, it is an time consumable and the money consumable. Okay, so it is going to attach. If you want to remove again, that you have to go with the acid washing. Okay. So this is one disadvantage in this potassium permanganate disinfection process. So two disadvantages. First one, with a specific organisms, it is reactive. Okay, it cannot remove all the organisms. That is one, and it retains or remains a dark brown precipitate to or it will attach to a um, color to boundary of any of the vessels. Okay, if you want to remove that, again you have to acid wash it. That is one disadvantage. Then excess lime. See, if you add excess lime treatment, we already did. Okay, if excess lime, if you add it, it at pH greater than 9.5. Okay, so we know the excess lime, that is lime is the CaOH twice, that is hydrated lime. If you add this, okay, normally the pH is going to increase. The pH of the water, it is going to be more than 9. Okay, once you increase the pH, definitely it is going to kill most of the pathogens. Okay, and it has to be added. Okay, after softening, we discuss this. Okay, and one more thing, very important thing is that we already know that the lime is CaOH twice. So OH is whatever the OH ions are responsible for increasing the pH. That always you have to remember it. But what will happen is that our drinking water standards, what it will say is that it is 6.5 to 8.5. The drinking water standards, what it will say is that 6.5 to 8.5. Even after treatment, what you have to do is that you have to reduce the pH. You have to reduce the pH. Then you have to supply. Okay, you have to reduce the pH and then you have to supply. Okay, that is the thing you have to maintain. See, assume that after treatment with the excess lime, normally the pH will be around 10. Then you cannot supply as it is. Then you have to reduce to below 8.5 and make it 6.5 to 8.5. Then you have to supply it. Okay, then again it is a tedious job. See, once treatment with the excess lime, that's possible. Okay, it is going to kill most of the pathogens. Okay, but the pH will be around 10. Then again you have to reduce it. Then you have to add again acid. Okay, you have to go with acid treatment. Okay, so that is why it has its own disadvantages for treating it. Okay, then KMNO4, it is for if you want to go for immediate disinfection, go for it. Ponds and lakes, it is recommended. So 1 to 2 milligram per liter with 4 to 6 hours of contact. Then red color should at least for 24 hours. Of course, it is going to disappear, and 99% efficiency it will give. Then silver treatment. It is very costly, as we already know. It is not recommended for most of the disinfection process. So Ag ions, that is silver ions, introduced by silver electrodes at 1.5 volts of DC. So again, you require power source here. Okay, we'll not discuss this. These are some of the disadvantages for the silver treatment. With a dose that is 0.05 to 0.1 milligram per liter is recommended if in some cases, specific cases, the silver is recommended where the pathogens, for only the specific pathogens, it has been recommended, and special cases, it has been recommended, and the contact time should be provided with 15 to 180 minutes of contact. Then it is necessary to remove the organic matter and hydrogen sulfide before treating with silver. Remember this. So suppose if you are treating with silver, first you have to pre-treat it with the organic matter and hydrogen sulfide. Okay. So this is overall about the um, organic process. So then we'll move on to the next PPT. Okay, we'll move on to this is a very important component. Okay, so till now we studied the disinfection by different methods. So we started with the physical methods. So we started with some of the chemical methods. So in the chemical methods, we discussed the KMNO4, we discussed the iodine, we discussed the uh, uh, silver, we discussed the bromine. Then we discussed some which are the advantages and which are the disadvantages. So overall, if you see it, overall, if you check it, so disinfection by chlorine, disinfection by chlorine proves to be an effective one. Okay, and it is widely used at present also. Okay, so then the attention has to be given for this rather than the previous. But we require the knowledge of that also. But as for the chlorine disinfection is concerned, so it has its main advantages like cost wise, okay, treatment wise, as the residual chlorine wise, okay. So it has been widely used. So then chlorine is used in many of the applications, including the disinfection, taste, odor control, and the color removal. So not only it is going to kill the pathogens, it is going to reduce the taste, it is going to reduce the odor, it is going to remove the color as well as the iron. Okay, if more excess of iron is there, it is going to reduce around 5 to 10%. Okay, chlorination is also used for oxidation of ammonia, iron, manganese, and sulfide as well as for the odor removal. So that is why it has been recommended for the removal of the pathogens, removal of the ammonia, removal of iron, removal of manganese, removal of sulfides. Chlorine is cheap, effective, and available in large quantities. So it is non-toxic in low concentration to higher forms of life and build up residual. So as I already discussed, the residual chlorine or the residual disinfectant is required to prevent the further contamination in the pipelines. So the basic disadvantage is acid generation, that is the HCl. We'll discuss that how exactly it is going to generate the HCl during the reaction process. Buildup of total dissolved salts. So when you add more chlorine, okay, so it is going to generate more dissolved solids and the formation of potentially carcinogenic halogenated organic compounds. So whatever the disadvantages we are speaking about, it is only when you add excess. So then it is better to go with optimization process before proceeding or before adding the chlorine. Okay, so first you have to optimize it, then you have to add the required chlorine dose. The principal chlorine compounds used at water and the wastewater treatment plants are chlorine, sodium hypochlorite, and calcium hypochlorite, and chlorine dioxide. See, it is added in the form of liquid form, powder form, as well as the gaseous form. Okay, when you are adding this in a gaseous form, it is only chlorine. Okay, when you are adding the chlorine in the powder, it will be in the form of the bleaching powder, that is CaOCl2. Okay, that is calcium hypochlorite. Okay, it is the calcium hypochlorite. It is nothing but the bleaching powder. Sometimes it is added in the form of calcium dioxide. It is also in gaseous form. Okay. Sometimes it will be in the form of powder form, that is sodium hypochlorite. Okay. So this all the things we will discuss how exactly the chlorine will be added, how exactly the residual chlorine is determined, how exactly it is determined in the laboratory. Okay, in the laboratory experiment also it is there, and we are doing it in our laboratory. Okay. How exactly it is reactive, how the pathogens are going to kill, how the mechanism is going to happen. Okay, once you add the chlorine to in water containing the pathogens, how it will start. Okay, it all the things we will discuss in the next class.